to our 60-minute slow flow. So as we get started, you might want to have a blanket and a couple of blocks with you for a practice today. And then when you have whatever you need, you can take a comfortable seat, legs in any position, and take a few moments to get nice and grounded. You might move the flesh of your thighs out of the way. Take a nice firm seat on the ground. I like to sit up on the edge of a blanket for a little extra lift through my hips. You might cover your first fingernail with your thumb and then place palms face down on your knees. Nice long spine, shoulder blades pulled slightly together, chin tucked just a little bit to lengthen through the back of your neck. And then begin to settle into your body. You're welcome to either close your eyes or soften your gaze and look down towards the floor. Begin to notice how your body feels today. Notice what you feel. Might start by noticing that connection between your body and the floor. That length through your spine as you sit up nice and tall. First, notice if there's anywhere that you're holding on to a little bit of tension that you can invite to soften and release a little bit. You might notice your forehead, your jaw, neck and shoulders, or your belly and hips. They're fairly common places where we hold on to both tension and other emotions. See if there's anything that once you recognize it and acknowledge it, can release a little bit. Might notice if there's other places that need extra love and attention today. Throughout your entire practice, do what's good for your body and notice what needs extra attention and support through practice. You're always invited to use props to support you in any way that they can. Might settle into noticing parts of your body that either feel good or neutral, and notice that as well. It's very easy to get caught up in only noticing the difficult, challenging places and not notice the places that feel a little bit more gentle and neutral. Might take a few moments to begin to tune into your breath. Begin to notice the movement of your belly and chest. Air moving in and out of your nostrils. And perhaps the pace of your breath. If you would like, you can keep your breath exactly as it is, or you might invite your breath to begin to slow down and lengthen, perhaps emphasizing a nice long exhale. With every inhale, you're pulling in that fresh oxygen, that energy that refuels your whole body. Every exhale, you're intentionally slowing it down, making it nice and long, to invite your body to let go and relax a little bit more. Stay with your breath for a little bit longer and settle into your breath pattern for today. If you would like to set an intention for your practice, this would be a lovely time to do that. Your intention can be anything that keeps you grounded or a dedication to a person or situation that you would like to offer your practice to. A few more breaths. Notice your intention and anything else that's coming up. Go ahead and bring your palms together, thumb rest at heart. Reflect on your intention one more time. And then bow your chin towards your chest to seal that intention. And release your hands down. Start our practice this morning with a little bit of breath work. So we're going to work on some alternate nostril breathing to help us settle into a full, slow breath and bring a little extra balance. So alternate nostril breathing is wonderful for creating some extra balance, brings the focus from one side of the body to the other, similar to some forms of therapy, and can be very healthy for balancing things out in our brain as well as in our body. So for our alternate nostril breathing, we'll fold in our first two fingers for our formal version. You can use any variation you'd like or any fingers that you would like. And then we'll start by using our right thumb to plug our right nostril. Take a deep breath in through your left nostril. And then switch that. Plug your left nostril with your ring finger. Exhale through the right nostril. Deep breath in, right nostril only. Then switch, plug the right nostril, exhale left. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Switch, exhale left. Inhale left. Switch and exhale right. Continue this pattern at your own pace. Use the pace of breath that works best for your body. It does not need to be in sync with mine. If you would like to add a little bit more, you can add in some breath retention. So at the top of every inhale, pause and take a couple of moments holding your breath. Then exhale it out. At the bottom of your breath, same thing. Pause for a few moments. Hold your breath before you take your next inhale. And then when you're ready, inhale in. Your choice to add breath retention or not. However you've chosen, if at any point you become dizzy, release this breath and return to your natural breathing. Continue for about 2 more minutes or whatever amount of time works well for you. Full deep breaths. See if you can really notice every breath, the movement of the air in your nostril, and the movement of your belly and chest. Take perhaps 3 more rounds of breath this way. When this feels complete for you, bring your right hand back down to resting on your knee. Take a few breaths, deep, natural breaths, both nostrils at the same time. If your eyes are closed, you might begin to flutter them back open and notice the space around you as well as anything happening in your body. We often start our classes with the 6 directions of the spine. We are going to do that today, but we're going to do it from a lying down position. So we're going to be very grounded today. We're going to stay low to the ground for most of our practice. We'll start by stretching out long on our back and then stretch your arms overhead. Take a moment just to do a nice big good morning stretch, whatever time of day it might be for you. Maybe stretch a little bit just through the right and the left, alternating back and forth. Maybe even pointing and flexing your feet. And then allow that energy through your limbs to release and everything to get a little heavier. Take a nice full breath in. Exhale it out. Your hips and shoulders where they are, but move your wrists and ankles over to the right side. You might cross your left ankle over your right or hold on to your left wrist and pull your wrist slightly away from your body. So we're making the shape of a C or a banana. And we're noticing a long side stretch through the left side of our body. Might also notice that you are fully supported here. We often do a similar shape from a standing position. It's a very different energy. Right now, you are fully grounded and supported, but still able to get that big stretch. Take a few more breaths. And then when you're ready, release everything back to center. Take a nice full breath in here. Long exhale out. In the other direction, hips and shoulders stay where they are. Wrists and ankles move over to the left. You could cross your right ankle over your left or grab your right wrist and gently pull away from your body. So perhaps on this side, you notice a big side stretch through your right side body. Take full deep breaths. Notice how this side feels. One more full breath in. Stay here as you exhale it out. And then bring everything back to center. Perhaps one more nice big full body stretch. And then your exhale, bring your arms down alongside your body. Bend your knees, bring your feet wide, knees touch. Find a constructive rest for a moment. See if you can let your belly sink down towards your spine so that your spine is resting fully on the floor. Let your limbs be nice and heavy. Whenever you feel ready, walk your feet back to hip width apart. Then press into your feet to shift your hips a couple inches over to the left. Bring your arms out to a T or cactus arms and let your knees fall to the right. You might look over your left shoulder. You're welcome to add anything to this twist that would feel good to you in this moment. You might use your right hand to pull your knee a little closer to the ground. You could do a different variation of a twist if that would feel better to you. Or if you need a prop, perhaps underneath or between your knees, you're welcome to find that support. We'll take about 3 or 4 more breaths right here and notice this nice big twist through your spine. One more big breath. Stay here as you let it out. And then bring your knees back to center. Press into your feet, shift your hips over to the right, and then let your knees fall to the left, perhaps looking over your right shoulder. And add any variation or support that would be useful for you. How this side feels. You might have a different sensation or notice different things on your second side. Couple more breaths. Release, unwind back to center. Find that constructive rest, feet wide, knees touch. Perhaps one hand on your belly, one hand on your chest. Allow everything to come back to neutral for a couple of breaths. Check in with your breath. Your hand on your belly and your chest can help you notice that movement through your belly and chest. Do a slightly different back bend for our beginning back bend. So walk your feet back to hip width apart and press your elbows into the ground to lift your chest and snuggle your shoulder blades together. Then bring your arms down alongside your body. We're going to do a little bit of movement through a bridge position. So you might press into your feet, lift your hips up on your inhale. Exhale, let it lower down. If you'd like a little bit more, you can lift your arms over your head as you lift your hips. And then exhale, hips and arms come back down. We'll do 4 more rounds of whatever you've chosen. A little bit more movement beginning to come into your body. One more time. Fill it out. Pause. And then begin to hug your knees into your chest. So this is kind of like our forward fold. If you'd like to round your spine a little bit more, you could lift your head and shoulder off of the ground. And perhaps it would feel nice to rock back and forth just a little bit. When you're ready, roll onto your right side, press up. We'll meet in a tabletop position. If you would like, you might bring a blanket underneath your knees for a little bit of padding and support. Listen to your hands, your knees, and your toes. Get nice and long through your spine. And then take a couple rounds of cat and cow. So this is continuing in a slightly different version, our forward fold and our back bend. You're welcome to move with your breath or in any other way that's useful for your body this morning. Couple more rounds. When you're ready, come to a flat, neutral spine. Take a nice full breath in. Exhale it out. Right leg out behind you, toes pointed down. Plant your toes on the ground, shift your weight back into your heel, and notice that stretch through your calf muscle. We'll take about 3 breaths here. And to notice some sensation in different parts of our body. You might also notice that you're still very grounded, hands, knee, and toe all pressing into the floor. The floor is helping to support you and keep you in this position. Next, inhale, lift your right foot up, bring it all the way off the left side of your mat, and then look over your left shoulder. Another side body stretch. Notice if this feels any different than the first one you did when you were laying on your back body. Few more breaths. When you're ready, and your leg right out behind you, begin to spin the big toe side of your foot towards the ground, and left toes come out to the side to make a kickstand. Your left hand might move forward, and then right arm stretches all the way overhead for stargazer. Couple more breaths here. If you want a little extra, you can float your top foot. Press up through your heel if you're doing that and engage your core. One more full breath in. On your exhale, unwind everything and come back to a tabletop position. Full breath in. Exhale it out. Release our wrists a little bit. So bring your right hand, fingertips pointed towards your body. Stay here for a couple of breaths so the back of your hand is pressing into the ground. Release that back to neutral. And then other side, left fingertips pointed back, back of your hand on the ground. If this causes any pain, don't do it. You might simply sit back and roll out your wrists. Good practice for noticing what feels good in your body and how to take care of yourself. Back to neutral when you're ready. And then lift your left leg out behind you. Plant your toes on the ground, shift your hips back. Notice that calf muscle stretch on this side. Full deep breaths. And you're ready, shift your weight back forward a little, pick up your left toes, move off the right side, and then once again, sink back. Notice the side stretch on this side. Couple more. Pressing into the ground. Stretch your limbs as long as you can. When you're ready, lift your left toes up and begin to set yourself up for Stargazer second side. Left fingers come all the way overhead. You're welcome to float your left leg if you'd like for a little more core engagement. Full breaths. When you're ready, unwind back to center. Find that tabletop position. Tuck your toes and sit back on your heels. If this hurts your feet, don't do it. If it feels okay, this is a nice little extra bonus of a toe stretch while we shake out our wrists. So hands come together, interlace your fingers, make figure eights in one direction. Notice which thumb is on top and which direction you're moving in. And then come back to center. Open your hands, interlace them the other way, and make your figure eights in the other direction. So the first one might have felt pretty normal. This one might feel a little bit different. See if you can notice that sensation. And then when you're ready, back to center, open, shake out your wrists. Little circles, have floppy wrists, whatever feels like a nice release for you. And then come back to your tabletop position. Walk your hands forward a little bit. Tuck your toes, lift up for downward facing dog. Bend one knee at a time. Wake up the backs of your legs a little bit more. And come up onto your tippy toes and drop your heels over to the right. So you're making one long line parallel to the short edge of your mat from your heels to your toes. Couple of breaths. Back up to your tippy toes and drop heels over to the left. Back to center. Bend your knees a little bit. If that feels different. Neutral downward facing dog. Right leg lifts. Step your right foot towards your right hand thumb. Drop your left knee down and perhaps grab your blocks. Lift up for Anjaneyasana, but then shift your weight back. Right toes pointed up towards the ceiling and shift back forward. So we're moving back and forth from Anjaneyasana to our half Hanuman. Continue to stretch out our legs in a reasonably gentle way this morning. One more time. This time as you lunge forward to your Anjaneyasana, stay here. If you would like, lift your arms and perhaps add a twist by shifting your weight back, left elbow to right knee, or hold on to your thigh and shift back forward. Couple more breaths in this twist. When you're ready, release, unwind, arms lift overhead, and then hands come back down to frame your foot. Step back to table, and then downward facing dog. Take another breath. Settle back in. Second side, lift your left leg, step it towards your left hand thumb, right knee comes down. Find your blocks if you'd like. Lift up, shift your weight forward, and then begin to shift back and forth. So shift forward, open your chest, shift back, come onto your heel, toes pointed towards the ceiling. Two more times. Next time you're lifted up, find your nice, strong Anjaneyasana arms can come overhead. If you would like, you can add that twist. Weight shifts back, palms come together. Right elbow, left knee. Shift back forward. Twist. Few breaths here. Next inhale, unwind, arms lift up. Exhale, weight shifts back, plant your hands. Step back to table and then downward facing dog. Full breath in, long exhale out. Lift your right leg behind you. This time bend your knee, open your hip, twist. Pause here for a moment, breathe. And then unwind, step your right foot forward. Option to keep your left leg lifted or drop your knee back down. Stay here in a runner's lunge for a moment, get nice and strong. Look forward. And if you'd like, add a twist. Left hand plants, right arm lifts up. 3 times. We'll sweep our arm down, wrap it around your leg, inhale, lift back up. 2 more. Last one. Hold as you're lifted up. Keep pressing nice and strong through your left leg. And then exhale, right hand back to the floor. Step back to downward facing dog. Full breath in here. Let it out. Left leg lifts. Bend your knee and twist. Couple of breaths. Unwind, step your left foot forward. Find that strong runner's lunge. Again, always option to drop your right knee back down to the ground. Like to add the twist, plant your right hand, left arm lifts. 3 times, sweep it down and back up. Notice that movement. Last time, hold, lift it into that twist. And then exhale, left hand comes down. Both knees come to the ground. Knees go wide, toes touch, sink back, child's form. Arms can stretch in front of you or wrap around your body. Have your head resting on something, the floor, your hands, a block. Use that point of your forehead to ground down. Take a few breaths and reconnect with whatever your intention was for today. Have an intention, just get nice and grounded. Find that connection with your body. More breath. When you're ready, lift up to table and then downward facing dog. If you have anything in the middle of the mat, you might move that off to the side for now. Look up towards your hands, slowly walk your feet up towards your hands. Find a forward fold. Your feet just a little bit wider. Let everything hang down. Maybe grab opposite elbows and sway a little bit from side to side. Release your hands down. Bring your feet back to hip width apart. Slight bend in your knee. Roll up as slow as you can, one vertebra at a time. When you arrive in standing, take a few moments, roll out your shoulders. And find your strong mountain position. Even here in standing, notice the grounding down. Your feet are pressing into the floor to help you lift up nice and tall all the way through the top of your head. You might lift your toes, spread your feet nice and wide. See how much space you can get between each toe. And then maybe place one toe back on the ground at a time until all of your toes have returned. Check the balance between the front and the back and from side to side. Get right in the center here. Do a few half sun salutations just to warm up and stretch a little bit more. Your next inhale, sweep your arms overhead. Exhale, fold flat back as long as possible and then round down. Hands on a block, the floor or your shins. Lift and lengthen halfway. Exhale back down. Inhale, sweep your arms all the way overhead. Palms come together, hands to heart center. Two more just like that, hands release. Inhale up. Exhale, fold. We lift, look forward. Exhale, fold back in. Inhale, sweep your arms all the way overhead. And back to heart center. One more time, hands release down. Inhale up. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift and lengthen. Fold back in. Inhale, sweep your arms all the way overhead. Palms come together, hands to heart center. Full breath in. Long exhale out. Bring your feet nice and wide on your mat, however you'd like to get there. Look down at your feet. Have your toes pointed towards the long edge of your mat, feet parallel to the short edge. Release your hands to your hips. As you inhale, a little bit of a back bend. At the fold, release your hands all the way down to the floor. Halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold. Continue to ground down into your feet and your hands. Again, check your balance. Notice where you're putting that weight. If your weight is all the way in the back of your heels, maybe shift forward. See if you're balanced equally from side to side. And find that center point. 2 more breaths. Halfway lift, slight bend in your knees, bring your hands back to your hips. Inhale all the way up. Bring your arms out to the side and then interlace your hands back behind you, straighten your arms. Inhale as you look up, little back bend. Exhale, fold. Arms come away from your body towards the floor over your head. Take a few breaths here and notice how your grounding or your balance has changed with your arms in this different position. You still ground down into your feet nice and strong. What else feels different? And more breath. You exhale, hands come back to your hips, slight bend in your knee. Inhale all the way up. Full breath in. Exhale it out. Your heels in, toes pointed towards the corners of your mat. And then bend your knees, sink down. Try to get your knees pointed towards the same direction as your toes. And either shift back and forth, or we'll explore Skandasana. So come over to the left, right toes pointed towards the ceiling. Palms can stay grounded or come to heart center. Take a few breaths. Hands come to center. Shift to the other side. Left toes pointed towards the ceiling. If you're lifted up, keep bending from side to side. Hands come back to center. Lift on up. Everyone straighten your legs. Start to heel toe your feet a little wider than hip width, toes still pointed out. And then sink all the way down to your Malasana squat. Palms can come together. Elbows pressing into your knees to open your hips. I like to sometimes add a little bit of a sway from side to side. Can get nice and grounded. Feet are pressing into the floor. Your hands pressing together might be nice and grounding as well. Notice where something is happening. If you would like, you can add a twist. Left hand to the ground, right hand to right knee and twist, or option to bring your right arm behind you. Couple of breaths here. Then move to the other side. Right hand comes to the ground, left hand to your knee or behind you, and twist. When you're ready, come back to center. Palms come back together. Take a breath in. Exhale it out. For our balance today, we are going to come from this position to standing all the way on our toes, if that works for you. Control your balance. We'll sink back down. We'll do that 3 times. So inhale, start to lift up. Maybe lift up onto your toes. Exhale back down. 2 more. Inhale up. Down. 1 more time, all the way up. And come down. 1 more full breath in. On your exhale, bring your fingertips behind you. Maybe even grab your blanket. Come down to a seat. Bring the soles of your feet together. Nice tall spine. Start with a couple little butterfly flaps. Just let your knees move. If your knees are really high up, you're welcome to put a block under your knees here. Slowly bring that to stillness. Find your tall spine. If you want more, you're welcome to begin to add a fold. Keep your spine flat, shoulder blades pulled together. You are welcome to release down to the floor if you can keep your flat spine while you do so. And look slightly forward to keep your neck in line with the rest of your spine. Take 5 or 6 slow breaths here. You're ready. Start to lift up. Your hands under your knees. Knees come together, legs come out straight. Shake them out a little bit. And then hands come back behind you. Lift through your chest. Maybe rock a little bit from side to side. When you're ready, lift back up. Bring your feet as wide on your mat as is comfortable. You're welcome to turn to the side or bring some cushion under your heels. So this is very similar to our standing position we did. We're going to see what it feels like to have our legs nice and wide and fold in from a seated position. So stay here, lengthen through your spine nice and tall. And then start to walk your hands forward for a fold if you want more. Again, only fold as much as your spine can stay flat, shoulder blades pulled together. So it might not look like much, but you might be noticing some sensation. For me, it's through the backs of my legs. For you, it might be somewhere different. Still no right or wrong answer. We're just noticing whatever's present. 3 or 4 full deep breaths. One more. Ready? Walk your hands back up. Bring your hands under your knees. Help them bend and come together. Plant your feet on the floor. Hands come behind you. Windshield wiper from side to side. One more time each side. And then back to center. Find a neutral seat. Nice full breath in. Long exhale out. Your blanket. Unravel it a little bit, maybe this shape. And then roll that blanket into a nice little tube. So we're going to lower down to our back body. This is our pre-Shavasana position. I'm going to do one more chest opener from a nice supported, grounded position on the floor. So we're going to lay over this blanket roll. Your arms might come out kind of like cactus arms resting on the floor. If your arms are not comfortable in that position, bring them anywhere that it's comfortable. We're going to aim to get that blanket roll right about here, maybe the base of your sports bra. And if that's not quite the right position for you, you can kind of roll back and forth until you're in the right spot. Knees can be bent, feet wide, constructive rest-like position. Or you can let your feet come long on the mat, whatever feels better for you. Wherever you are, notice that little bit of lift through your heart. A little gentle back bend here without having any effort in our body. Back to your breath. Take about 5 slow breaths here. Before you move, begin to consider your best way to remove your blanket roll and return to your back body. That might be lifting to a seat or rolling to one side. When you're ready, make that movement. Get your blanket off and then return to your back body. Take a moment, hug your knees into your chest, maybe rock a little bit from side to side again. If there's any other final positions that your body would like to do, take a few moments for that. You could do another twist, a happy baby, legs up the wall, which could also be a lovely final rest. So anything your body would like, give it a few moments for that. When that feels complete, you might begin to make your way towards your final rest. Your traditional final rest or Shavasana is feet a little bit wider than hip width, toes naturally falling out, arms slightly away from your body, palms face up. However, you are welcome to take any position that's comfortable for you. You might want a blanket or a bolster under your knees. Bend your knees, place your feet on the ground, or even come to a seated position if that works better for you. Take a few moments to reconnect with your body and your intention. Notice again that you are still very supported by the floor underneath you. Allow your limbs to release and be heavy. Let all of that drift away and take rest. Begin to deepen your breath. You bring awareness back into your body. Begin to wiggle fingers and toes, circle wrists and ankles. Bend your knees, and if it's comfortable for you, you can roll onto your right side body. Use your right arm to support your head. Take a couple of breaths to begin to come back. When you're ready, press your way up towards a comfortable seat. Palms come together, thumb rests at heart. Gratitude that you chose to be here today, that you took the time to do something good for yourself, good for your body and your soul. Deep gratitude to all of our teachers that have passed this tradition down through the generations. We'll close our practice by bringing our thumbs to our forehead and bowing. The light in me bows to and honors the light in each of you. Thank you for being here. Hope that practice helped you to get a little bit more grounded into your body, and hope to see you again soon. Thank you.